All right, folks. So last week we talked about the fact that there's still time on the clock. This week I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into one of the points that I spoke about there. And one of those things was that the attempt by itself, right? And when I say attempt, I'm talking about the taking the risk to try something new, whether big or small, and especially if it's something that may or may not work. Many of us we only value something if we can guarantee that before we even take the first step that we're going to be successful at it. But the reality is we can't guarantee you know well, let me just say it like this: there are many types of successes. There are many successes that we can't guarantee. Now we hope to give ourselves a pretty good chance at obtaining success in different areas, but none of us can really say we guarantee success. Okay, what we can guarantee though is whether or not we will make the attempt. And so I wanted to talk. One of the things that keeps us though from like pursuing, just attempting something, is how we see the attempt. And many of us don't see the attempt as being valuable in and of itself, and so we don't make the attempt. But there's some things that we can get from the attempt, and I just jotted a couple of those things down here, right? So one of the things that you might get from the attempt is you might learn something new that you wouldn't otherwise have learned if you didn't make the attempt, right? Then another thing is you give yourself an actual chance of success, even if that success is sometimes by accident, right? And so even an accidental success, if it's something that we're interested in, can be very valuable to us. Like I think sometimes we only value certain outcomes if we're like the ones that control the outcome. Listen, life hands us some aspects of life are chance, by faith, by sheer luck of the draw, right? It's a probability kind of thing sometimes. And so we have to also appreciate when we just get lucky. So going back to that game, the gentleman from the Boston Celtics threw that shot up with a mere fraction of a second left. No guarantee that is going to go in, but the attempt, allowed them to win Game 6 and go on to Game 7. Right now, they lost Game 7, but they at least gave themselves the chance. Right there, we go again. They gave themselves the opportunity to at least play another game to see if they could make it into the finals. And then I think this might be one of the best things. And this is not an exhaustive list, right? And part of my handwriting, all right, my bad, y'all. I'll have some better handwriting for you next time. But this is not an exhaustive list. But one of the things I think is most important from the attempt is that I think many of us don't realize that what makes a lot of people wise in terms of their craft is not just because they know what works, but they also know a lot about what doesn't work because they've done things so many times and they've gone down so many wrong paths that they kind of are aware of, like, it, a lot of us who want to get things right automatically, you may come up on a situation and you think that you have the knowledge already, but the person who has done it so many times and has made the attempt time and time and time again starts to kind of be able to figure out, well, what are the rhythms and what are the patterns of the things that work and the things that don't. But you can only do that if you actually make the attempt. I'm thinking now of you know uh, folks like your George Washington Carvers, your Thomas Edisons, and all these different people that we people who just like to invent in general, right? They spend a lot of time doing things and getting things wrong to eventually get to what's right. Matter of fact, one of my favorite theologians, he says it like this, and I think this was one of the most helpful ways for me to think about some of this. He said, and he has his PhD in, I think, a New Testament biblical studies or something like that, right? But one of the things he said is to become an expert in anything, you have to waste a lot of time on that thing. And it was weird for me to hear it that way, because usually we don't talk about wasted time. We don't talk about we don't frame wasted time in like a positive aspect. But what he was getting at was, if you look at anybody who is an expert at their craft, who is a thought leader in their space, they've spent a lot of time not just doing things right, but also doing a lot of things wrong. All right. And so they understand, they have a complete picture, all right, of what can go right and what can go wrong. And they understand a lot of times when they're in a path. Maybe sometimes you find yourself in a jam where it's like, hey, this isn't necessarily the best case scenario, but I've been here before. We're here right now. I know how to navigate this kind of space. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you all for this week, is that the attempt is still valuable, and keep on attempt. If it's something that if it's a subject matter, topic, an experience, an activity that you find valuable, then continuing to make the attempts within that realm will continue to be valuable as well. All right, before I keep on rambling, y'all have a good one. If you do want to connect, because I am planning on doing some coaching or what have you, I have, for those who might be interested, especially if folks are interested in gaining clarity around just some of the things that they might want to do or pursue. If folks are interested in coaching around how to kind of move out of mediocrity, or you're feeling stuck or you're feeling stagnant, if I can be of help, definitely feel free to reach out. Either contact me here, find me on Instagram, find me and reach out to me on here if you need to, and we'll figure the rest out. Okay. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.